And I'm like, don't go visit we're going to Taco Bell. And in the airport, I'm like, Taco Bell. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I'm like, why? Yeah, they serve margaritas. I was like, Taco Bell. And so we saw when we went by, they had all those tacos and their margaritas.
Wow.
Y'all are. I know. I'm not sure how it's going to work. What was in the Dominican? It was in Mexico. It was in Mexico. And they told me, oh, you drink it. We go around.
That's like they're doing, that's like one of the it's just like a drink that they just always have. It's not like alcohol, but they certain pollution. This is the same one.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question as far as Get out.
Save up a couple years. So I got my trimmer and I started doing last year. So I couldn't do it for 30 seconds. Not even. And I couldn't have that. I was in a rush and
Monday do the same things, but they're doing too. Do it.
Remember 56? Sitting in the mail. My husband's going down.
ready to drive.
Forsyth's Country Club. That's where I have my receptions every weekend. Forsyth's Country Club. It's about like, but it's not.
We always start out with tell me something good. So, I love following her. Rusty. Go your room. Well, guys, we have so much good news this morning. Tell me the good news you've not told me.
No, some magazine that I can't remember the name of rated the top producing real estate companies in America, and KW Rawls Group, of which this group is probably one or two in that, number 52 on the list out of the top 500.
Any other good news we need to talk about?
Yes.
How about this smiling face right back here?
Yeah.
All right. Stand up and introduce yourself, please, Clark.
Hey, how are y'all? I'm Clark Davey. Hey, Susan, how are you? That's it.
All right, so Clark, tell everybody how we know each other.
So we know one another because you were a lower school principal at my high school and lower school and middle school alma mater. Love it.
Wow.
Wow. We met.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So
He joined our office last week from Millwood office, and we love having you here, Clark. We're excited about it.
Me too.
We're welcoming, and we expect great things out of you.
all right. Well, pressure's on.
I think it's called Game On.
There you go. Game on.
So we're glad to have Clark. Anybody else here for the first time that I missed? Well, the good news here is for
So it's faith, family, and then this career. So I had a chance to spend 5 glorious days in South Florida, and she's gonna kill me, to celebrate Mom's 92nd birthday.
Wow, amazing.
There is no amount of money that you can put on that. I'm still on that high. I'm like loaded from just being around her, and we made her cry on her birthday because we gave her a nice party.
Can we give her a hand for that? Being 92 and be as sharp as her mother is, live by herself, ornery as she is. Like we know the great, so fabulous. What a glorious birthday. Karen.
I am grateful that my listings that are under contract with multiple offers much above the list price.
Wow. How many of you are following Magdalena's Facebook social media page? Who's following that? What do you all think? Rob, what do you think about it?
She's just beautiful.
I like that, okay?
No, she's doing a great job. She's really interacting and she's showing her true self. It's not like, it doesn't seem like it's scripted or anything. It's just her being her.
Thank you. Well, somebody said 4 personal posts, 1 real estate. And just try to be, I had a goal for this year to post even a little something every day, maybe take like 1 day break, but I've been on top of it the whole time.
And if you've not watched it because I'm like, wow. I mean, it's like the professional done, so it's working well, so congratulations.
Yeah, who's holding the camera?
It depends. Sometimes my son.
Plans?
Yeah.
And others do the same thing. I always get told myself if I'm up, I don't care. But anyway, guys, it's going well. I love watching them. They're very well done. Do you have a lavalier mic or just the ones that's in your camera?
Camera.
Wow, just amazing. Any other good news we can talk about? Yes, ma'am.
I have offering B. I just got back from Illinois. I spent 5 days there, celebrating my great aunt's 93rd birthday.
Wow, let's give her a hand.
She did a dance for my birthday.
She was?
She did a dance. Just to let me know that she was still agile.
Can you imagine her being 93 and doing dance?
Yes.
Yes. I love all that. All right, who else?
Jim, I just want to say thank you to everybody that came for Video Killed the Radio Star last week. Ty Anderson, I think everybody got a lot out of it. Several folks said it was the best class they've been to. We're going to do our best to try to get him back. He's highly booked, so we're going to try to do our best to get him back in June.
Come here, Nathan. All right. And Nathan, my grandson. 2 weeks with him.
Oh my God, who are you?
Tell them what we're doing next week, Nathan. Universal next week.
All right.
He gets to go to Universal. Guess who's paid? Actually, you all are. Any other good news to talk about at all? Cool, then let's move on. Partners, come on up on.
All right. It's the second time I've gotten to come in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
Carrie's coming up with something to do every day. But she texted me last night, and there's some vendor fair she had to be at today. But she wanted me to remind you guys, which I did, and she said we've had a lot of RSVPs, but the Fair Housing Class CE that Cheryl's teaching. It's on, let me get this, April 13th from 10 to 1 with lunch. You guys can go on and sign up for that on the website, or she'll send something out, Kimberly will send something out. But she's had a really good response, but she wanted to remind you because that's always a good class. It's kind of a special one that Cheryl's done. She's gonna do it like 7 times at different places over that next week, so it should be a good class. Other than that, thank you guys for a great month. Things picked up tremendously. I get a report on Monday every week for just measures purchases only, no refinances or construction loans or anything like that. Just purchases, and we've gone up 40%. Went up 30%, then 40%. So things are obviously picking up. You know that better than me, and thank you guys for that. And we just continue to serve you, and you let us know if there's any way we can help you. Clark, good to have you here. Known Clark a long time. He's a good one, so it's a great addition. But you guys, if you need anything, make sure you let me or Carrie know, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much. Hey guys, I love hearing one that your business is not that much. I love hearing that. That's good news.
Good.
Close up the back right. Okay, guys, let's move on. Who's
That
up?
will be me.
Come on, Reed.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Reed.
My trusty sidekick Danielle can't be here. Her daughter's got a fever today, but Heather's here. So I'm Reed with Silverton Mortgage, and just a few things I want to mention to you. First of all, I got to tell you a funny joke I heard. So I have actually started going to the gym. I know you can tell, right? Anyway, I heard a guy say the other day, he said, all my friends are talking about going to the gym and exercise. Says me, I'm sitting here watching a TV show that I don't even like because the remote fell on the floor. So anyway, if you can relate to that, talk to Arthurine later. So a couple of things. So we've got a CE class. She's a coach and she's fit. That's why. CE class this Thursday from 1 to 4 right here. We hope you'll be here. We've got about 30 people who've RSVP'd so far. There's a QR code right there if you want to register for this. And you do need to RSVP because we have to make sure that we track attendance to get the CE registered and all that sort of thing. Mark Durden from D.S. Murphy and Associates is going to run the class. Many of you know him. Very insightful. And guys, if you can do this, I would encourage you to do it. I mean, quite honestly, we don't get low appraisals very much. And it actually seems to ebb and flow year to year, different times, different seasons in the market. But for you to be able to take that appraisal when you get a copy of it, to understand if there's something wrong in it, and to intelligently rebut that appraisal, it's a big deal. Because a lot of times, I'll have an agent call, they're upset. Like I said, it doesn't happen very often, but I'm saying, okay, let me know what's wrong with the appraisal. And there's no data that I can go back to an appraiser to tell it. So it would be great if you guys could be in that. We'd love to have you. Couple other things that are newsworthy. We had told you a couple of weeks ago how Fannie Mae was imposing a pricing adjustment if a debt-to-income ratio went from 39.9 to 40, and the chaos that could cause. They have decided to hold off on that till August. We're hoping, aren't we, Jeff, that they do away with this completely? Right. Because it's we can do the best job that we can when we're pre-approving somebody and they're at a 39.8 debt-to-income ratio. It goes through underwriting.
insurance is a little higher, tax is a little higher, something like that, and all of a sudden they're at 40.1, and we have to go back to the client and say, Mr. Smith, it's actually gonna cost you another $600 at closing. How are you gonna explain that to anybody? It's not gonna go well. So we're hoping that'll go away. I wanna remind you of our rate drop protection. If your client's financed with us, if they refinance within 3 years, they can do it with no lender fees at all. There's no origination, no nothing, and no appraisal fee. So this is a good thing for clients that are concerned about where rates are now. Chances are they're not gonna be stuck with that interest rate. And stats. Jim, are you gonna mention any stats today at all? So I just talked to a realtor friend of mine this morning, and he said he just pulled these stats up. He said that there are 7,500, now I'm guessing that this is in the Atlanta MSA. He said there's 7,525 pendings right now. Does that sound right? Mm-hmm. And there's 5,897 new listings. So guys, our inventory issue is not really getting any better. So if you've got a secret stash of listings, please go ahead and bring them out now, okay? Appreciate you guys. Any questions? Good, thanks a lot.
I told Stephanie that on my coaching call week before last, my coach, who is arguably one of the best coaches at MAPS for team leaders, is also tough, making me very uncomfortable because we're exactly to do. But he believes that we can get ready for the oncoming amount of listings coming our way. He said it's coming, he thinks this summer that rates will hit, it could be wrong, yes, we'll hit mid-5 someplace. Now, whether they'll have it, we don't know, right, guys and ladies? But he says, I'm telling you, there's a pent-up demand for listings, it's gonna hit. And are you ready for it? Are you talking to your clients? Are you in contact with your database? Because that's the ones that's going to give you the note, let y'all know that there are new listings coming up. So guys, he's very confident this summer it's going to be a different game. So be ready for it. If you're not talking to your clients every single day, I plan to talk to them as much as you can, guys. Get ready because it's going to come at some point. Inventory's got to get more because it has to, because there's too much good job up there right now. So, all right, thank you for our wonderful sponsor. He brought breakfast. Did you make those sausage yourself?
I did.
Wow, let's have a hand for that. That
You would do early in the morning.
I love it.
Especially when you gotta go somewhere. So I'm Josh from Very Good Home Inspections. The only reason we're not very best home inspections is because we thought it would be too cocky, right? So let me just ask you a question. How many times have you had an inspector go out to one of the properties and tell your client that they needed to see a professional engineer for, say, foundation cracks or structural issues? Yeah. Well, we don't have to do that. We have our very own in-house engineer. He was just here, green jacket. And he's personally trained all of us to diagnose all this stuff in the field. We also do mold remediations, mold inspections. We used to do asbestos, but realistically, nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants to know. I wouldn't want to know. We do lead testing. We do radon testing. We can even sewer scope the sewer line if you need us to. So we do inspections from the roof down to the crawl space. I hate the crawl space, just like everybody else, but we get in there, we get dirty. So if you need us, just give us a call. Very Good Home Inspections. Thank you.
I want to say, hey Josh, how are you?
Hey man, what's going on?
Good. So I've used them several times. They're just have done a great job, real solid. They're from the area, so I just give my kudos for them. So thank you.
Thanks.
What is your phone number, please? What's the phone number? What's your phone number?
Oh, I got cards for everybody.
They have a website too.
Here, give me a bunch.
Very Good Home Inspection.
Oh, okay, give me a bunch.
I apologize, guys. That was just Gene Ross calling me.
Just.
Good news, that's love job. All right, guys, Rob, since you're up, buddy, which is your favorite Y4C2Ts right now?
Oh.
Yeah, he was here.
So I live, if real estate is, we like to say it's very,
Oh, thank you.
yes or no, right? I live in creativity, right? And I like to live in the gray, so I like creativity.
I don't think anyone's picked that one in a long time, creativity. I love ideas before results. I love that. Got to be creative. I like that a lot. Rob, that's a good one. I've not thought of that one in a long time. So let's move on.
That's why you hired me.
Agent staff highlights. I'm always interested to see what's up here. This is been highlighted this morning. Look who it is. This is John Gale's sister. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Yeah, she's been here for a couple of years. She says, you know I'm John Gale's sister, I'm Lynn. Well, yes.
I always just want to make sure you know who I am.
I like it. Anyway, I did not know this about her.
Oh,
wow.
No, I'm an instructor.
wow.
So can you kick some booty?
I could, now I'm a little bit older and my hips hurt.
She got arrested.
So when I got my 2nd degree black belt, I did,
What?
well, this was my choice. I
Wow.
tried kicking 2. I was, trying to show off. I only was able to break one of the boards, but then I just kicked it. In case I get in a fight with 2 guys, I can kick them both in the head.
Now, tell us about how you got arrested at age 14 for driving.
Oh, yeah. So I've had a lot of experience driving. Especially when people actually want to ride in the car with me, which I am going to be doing later today. I've just washed the car. Yeah, my friend and I went out and, snuck out. So it was also against Cobb County law to be out after midnight. So we were sneaking out. We went over to Huddle House. I don't even think those are around anymore. And then she told me, oh, we don't even have a license. Well, that waitress, who we thought was cool, went and called the cops on us. So then, as we're being followed by the cops, the lights are behind us. No experience driving. She's the one driving, I'm riding. She goes around a corner really fast because she doesn't know how to drive yet, and crashed into a parked car while being pulled over. So that was a lot of fun. So that's what kind of delayed me getting my license, because I was very honest and said, yes, I have been arrested, even though it's cleared off my record, but I didn't want to get in trouble for something like that. So that's why it took about another 7 weeks. Greg was like, why'd you even put this? I'm like, I don't know. So there you go, it's fun fact about me.
Adrian, we love that she would do something like this and tell on herself. All right, next one is, all right, George Crumley, previous occupation, retired from Verizon after 40 years, telecommunications, chosen because of the training. For the past 3 years, I've been assistant varsity girls basketball coach at Central High School in Roswell.
Centennial.
George, so you're also a basketball coach?
I am. Centennial High School.
Awesome.
Wow, which is incredible. Thank you very much, you guys, which is cool. 23 years in real estate, George. George, we're glad that you're here with us, but I'm sure you're going to be sharing a little bit later.
I am.
Not right now.
Right now, come on up.
There you go.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
George. We just saw my introduction there. So here I am, my partner, Mike Pierce is not here this morning, so I'm here to talk a little bit about KW Commercial. Commercial is alive and well right now. Right now, what seems to be hot is warehousing. If you think about it, a lot of what happened last year with a lot of the containers. Now companies, what they're doing is they're stockpiling a lot of stuff, your Home Depots, your Lowe's, so a lot of warehousing out. So we're here to support, if you run into any clients out there doing your residential hunts that are also looking for commercial expertise, myself and Mike Pierce are here available to help win those deals. You get compensated from it, so you don't have to work, you just pass on the lead. And then of course we have access to CoStar, which has all the sites and information in it. Any questions?
George, how would you say the market is right now on the commercial side?
I would say it's good. Okay, what you're seeing now is in commercial buildings, you may see it go down because there is a glut of office space, especially here in Atlanta. But from a multi-family housing perspective, it's good. And from a leasing warehousing, it's good.
And last but not least, George, explain to them why it's pretty impossible to do one commercial deal, particularly about the search engine that you all use for commercial.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Why it's almost impossible to do one commercial deal on their own without your all stuff, and what the search engine is, particularly for commercial deals.
Commercial, the search engine is CoStar, and I came from the residential side. As you saw, my background is in business, working with large Fortune 500 companies, and that was one of the reasons that I switched over to the commercial side. my goal for this year was to do something different. I'll be 68 this year, so I figured do something different. I've been doing residential for so long, I decided to commercial. And what I'm finding out, there's a lot of different things. Like yesterday, I was reviewing an 18-page leasing contract. That's something I would not be doing on the residential side. But because I've been dealing with a lot of business customers throughout the years, if someone uses all the tools that I've learned throughout the years, my 40 years in corporate America. So it is a little bit different than residential. There's a lot more paperwork. There's a lot more things that you have to consider.
Any questions about it at all, guys?
How do you typically get paid? Do they cash you out or is it over the term?
It depends. On a lease, it's called what they say 1 in 4, which you get the first month plus 4% of the total lease. But it could work differently because here again is all negotiable, but that's a standard. And that would be upfront. But there could be some situation where you get paid on the back end. It's all negotiable.
Any other questions? Let's give him a hand, George. Thank you so much. I don't want to be a broken record about this, but I'm telling you, at least once every couple of months, someone calls me and says, "Oh, Jim, I want to do a commercial deal." I go, "You can? You don't have the tools." Now, can you sell any property in the state of Georgia? Yes, you can. And can I stop you from doing a commercial deal? No, I cannot. Because if you want to do it, that's up to you. And maybe it's one that's simple. No, but typically, if you go to see your dentist, you don't even heal your foot. So try to stay in your lane and do what you're supposed to do, guys. Keep out of trouble. Let these guys and girls that are on the commercial side take good care of you. All right, lunch and learn. Let's talk about diversity and inclusion workshop. I don't tell you when and where. You want to talk about this, Angela?
Yes, it will be tomorrow from 11:30 to 1 in the Lead Gen Room. We will be meeting to talk about different cultural tips that will help enhance your business and make you a better agent.
Cool. And guys, it's a really
From
good
11:30 to 1.
place to be, guys, and hang out because the stuff that you don't know, you'll learn there about this. So guys, please show up, please be there. I'll be there. Look forward to seeing as many that can come tomorrow. Okay, group coaching, when to fire and when to hire. This should be at the top of your agenda for tomorrow because on Monday, April the 3rd, from 11 to 12 within the Assistant Institute Lead Generation Room downstairs. So come out and find out when should I get rid of my client, when should I cut my losses and move on. And guys, there's somebody in this room that have been showing people houses for 2 years and they're probably not going to ever buy. So
it's actually about when to fire, when to hire an assistant.
Oh. Well, I'm pretty and also to when to fire your clients. Don't laugh at me like that. That's what I do, guys. If I don't have a good story, I just make one up.
Crossover
tips. I love it, guys. I love it. Red Day. Let's talk about Red Day. On Thursday, May the 11th. Guys, this is the time when we give back to people. Christy, you want to talk about this? Lisa. Who's going to talk about it? Lisa, talk about it.
We're going to be serving 2 ministries, Musk Ministries here. We're going to have volunteers at their donation center, and also we're going to be manning the mobile pantry in Cherokee, and actually handing out food to people who are the end user of that. And then also Nothing But the Truth, which is a similar type charity on a smaller basis that provides food to underserved families in Gwinnett that Stephanie Can is very involved in. So we're going to have some opportunities for different things that fit into your schedule. So please mark that day off on your calendar, and we'll be following up.
More until tomorrow, but guys, it's a wonderful day, and everyone that goes, I'm so glad I went. It just changed my life. So please put that on your calendar. May 11th. It is Mo Anderson's birthday, who is the vice chair of the board for Keller Williams International, and she's amazing, and she's still involved in Red Day up to even at this point. So anyway, guys, please put that down on your calendar and say, lessons learned. You're up.
While he's walking out, as he traveled for spring break, please pull all the hotel toiletries and bring them back to the office. We'll want some of those for our hygiene kits we're gonna pack.
I like that. I like that.
Awesome. So lessons learned. So I got a phone call yesterday. So I want to say thank you to all of our agents. When you're in a situation and you're just not sure, that, you call myself or Sherry and everything, and, you know, y'all think that we know everything, and, we don't. But what we do is we go to contract and we read it. So I got one yesterday that threw me off, and, threw Sherry off a little bit too. So here's the situation. We had an agent, someone in her sphere mistakenly listed their property with somebody else. And guess what? They're having a tough time. The sellers have asked them to come in because their listing agreement's just about up. And this person is gonna list their home when it expires. They let their other agent know that that's what they're gonna be doing. And the other agent came back and said, well, since we had it in contract for some period of time, it actually doesn't expire when it expires, we have more time. And I was like, so that, Karen's been doing this for a minute, right? And I was like, you can? And so she's like, I think so, but I'm not sure. So we both, Sherry and I went in the new contract. Section 2, under list price and listing period. It does say the number of days that it was under contract, you can extend the listing period. But the broker needs to give notice to the seller within 5 days of the contract not being consummated, but in no event later than prior to the expiration. So if you're under contract for 10 days and you're supposed to, and the listing's over on April 1st, if you notify your seller unilaterally, so it means only one person, you can have 10 days. I was surprised. So that's the lesson that I learned.
Just be clear. Try to clear, kind of talk through each of those.
Except if the seller terminates the listing.
A seller,
Which
right?
you cannot advise them to do if you're
Correct.
an incoming agent.
So-
That is bad. Do not do that.
Do not do that.
Oh, yeah.
So they do have that right? And it's not very clear in any contract because these contracts are written by who? Attorneys, but the Georgia Association of Realtors. So who are they? I mean, I don't like to say it this way, but I'm going to say it. It's to protect the agent, not the consumer as much. And so it's not very clear there how you can get out of the contract. Now, 100%, this is why I love living in America, right? You can do whatever you want in America, right? So you could get out of it. You could terminate the contract. And then when it's terminated when?
That day.
That day. Correct.
It's also the same with the buyer brokerage.
Correct.
That if you're under contract, it's extended by that contract period.
But also on your listing appointments and your buyer brokerage appointments, you should be educating your client that that is an option. Because if you are not doing your job, they do have the right to let you go.
You only want to
And
work
you
with
need
people
to
that want to work with you.
let them know that.
Yes. And I bring that up in all of mine. Hey, this is a great contract for both of us. If I find out you're an axe murderer and I didn't know that, I should be able to step out, right? And if you find out I'm an axe murderer, you should be able to step out as well, right? So it's just understanding the contract, and most problems come about because of lack of knowledge. Okay, and then people get real excited, right? And they're yelling and screaming about stuff that does not come down to the contract. So I've had conversations with sellers just this weekend. Someone was very, very upset. They had an inspection done. A septic got dug up for the inspection, and lo and behold, it's been a vacant home, and the toilet just backed up and flooded the house, right? Our agent was going out to California, and I jumped in, talked to the people, let her scream and yell and everything, and then just dealt with the issue. I'm like, I can't fix anything, here's the only thing we need to do, we need to get your house dry. Let's deal with that. And just kept it to the facts.
Rob, a little bit to clarify, so back on this example, so you have a listing, they go under contract with a buyer, that terminates, so the listing is active again, you're saying that the agreement would extend however long that was under contract, right? The listing period would extend that amount of time, is that what I heard?
Yes.
If you give notice.
Yes.
Read that part about the
Yes.
notice again, please.
It says, the listing period, and I love when they put this word in there, may, which is very vague, might, kinda, I want it to, right? Be extended unilaterally, not by the agent, by who? The broker, for the number of days that property was under contract. By broker providing written notice to this, of the same to the seller within 5 days of the contract to sell not being consummated.
Within
Yeah.
5
Prior
days
to
of
the
the
listing
contract to
expiration.
sell, okay,
So that contract falls apart. Within 5 days of that, this is what this is saying, within 5 days of that contract falling apart, you need to let them know, hey, listen, by the way, I know our listing agreement was 6 months, and we're under contract for 15 days. It's actually 6 months and 15
it's
days.
interesting, they use contract to sell, I mean, that's closing date to me.
Well, it says not being consummated.
Contract, not,
Consummated.
okay, I heard the word sell in there.
5 days of contract to sell.
Is that not
Purchase to sale.
Not being
Not consummated.
consummated.
Oh, gotcha, that last part, okay, thank you.
So, yes.
So what happened?
Team effort.
You've emphasized the broker has to give this notice, and we,
You're a
not agents of the
representative of the
broker, so we can do it.
And you're all overseeing this.
Love
So
to.
everything,
That's why you
Rob-
get paid big
Rob, that
bucks.
was a really good one. That's been in there as long as I can remember. Often no one knows about that. There's a couple words stuck out at me. Unilateral, what does that mean?
One way.
That's what that means, unilateral, okay? And who is the broker? Who is that person? In this case, it's a generic term, I don't think I could be wrong about this, Rob. I don't necessarily think it's talking about Lynn LaCroix, who is our what? Broker of record.
Yes,
I think that broker or the broker, but the good news is, that you have the right, to extend that. Now, if the seller's not want to sell, that's a hard one to enforce for me. But just realize that, guys, that's in there. And that's kind of stuff that I love to argue with other brokers about. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do, so, anyway. Well, I do love that, but I think when they call me and go, Jim, the contract says blah, 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 then great, tell me where it says that, I missed that part, so. You're like, oh, that's not even wants to know, it's not, it's cool. All right, Karen, come on up front. So I've been saying for about a year now that we're missing the boat because we're not doing more open houses. So when Karen said, let's talk about open houses, I said, let's talk about open houses. Because I'm telling you, open houses are prolific right now. And the biggest concern I hear is that, Jim, there are no one to hold that house up. And I go, have you asked everybody? Oh, well, I guess I haven't. Well, you have to be a little more aggressive than putting an email out there. So Karen, come show us about open houses and how well they're working right now.
I'll do that.
Let's welcome Karen! Yay! Karen, quickly, how are you doing, Keller Williams?
22 years.
In a row?
In a row.
Karen, where'd you come from?
I was at Jenny Pruitt and Associates.
With me? Right, different offices, I get right.
Look at her, she comes with
We've known each other for a
props.
while also. So either we were in high school together, sort of. Jenny Pruitt.
She's slick, she's sharp, she's sharp.
I'm sharpless. Okay,
But you're still sharp.
How many of y'all love to do open house?
Yes, every
And the
hand.
hands that are not up,
Every
why
hand.
do you not love to do open house?
They don't know.
Dodging traffic to put out signs.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of an open house? Sell a house.
Meet future clients.
To meet people and
Get
have them see
leads.
your pipeline.
Get
Okay,
leads.
so there's a misconception about
Yes.
what open house is, right?
Right.
It is not to sell the house, and you don't want to present it to your client seller as, I'm gonna sell your house this weekend at open house. The job of open house is for you to generate buyer and seller leads. And so with that being said, you've gotta have a plan, and that plan needs to be executed. You don't just show up the day of open house and expect it to be a flourishing, wonderful, successful event.
Karen, could I just, because I did open houses every single weekend and usually on Saturday and Sunday both for like 5 years, okay? Could I just think of a little bit? I always said my job is to expose your house, and this is one more way to expose your house.
Yeah,
I mean, do you agree with that?
I do.
I was the open house king, I did them a lot.
Yeah.
How do you set that expectation in your listing appointment? Because I had a way of doing it. I'd like to hear how Karen does it.
So I'm gonna do that. That's why I'm up here.
Awesome, Karen.
Hang on a second.
Do you need help with the
No.
kids right now?
She's got her game on.
Okay, so first of all, when should you start planning your open house? How do you plan for your open house? If you're not the listing agent, if you're a buyer's agent or an agent that's beginning, you need to choose an open house. And with inventory moving as quickly as it's moving, you may be limited on your choices. As inventory increases, you'll have more choices, and you'll want to be strategic about how you choose what open house you're gonna hold. But let's just say for this scenario that you are the listing agent. Okay, typically, as a listing agent, I go live on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and that very first weekend, I have open house. So I'm planning for either Saturday or Sunday, and I'm gonna get my signage out right away. So I may have coming soon on the sign, but I also have open house Saturday 1 to 5, open house Sunday 1 to 5. And I put all my directionals out everywhere that I can put them. And the directionals are gonna say, coming soon. They're gonna be stacked on my directional signs, okay? If you're on a budget and you don't wanna have 10 signs that say open Sunday 1 to 5, then have the entrances say this and have all the rest of them say this. The house has to have this. If you've got multiple houses in the neighborhood for sale, you wanna know that the house is open Sunday 1 to 5, not the wrong house, okay? But this gets you a little bit of a budget saver just to have generic open signs, okay? So once you've done that, you're monitoring, you know, kind of traffic. Your clients are gonna let you know, oh my gosh, I'm having all this drive-by traffic and what have you. So you're going to then, once you go live on Tuesday or Wednesday, immediately in Command, hopefully all of us are using Command, you're gonna create an event, open house event, and put it out on social media. And that's gonna put it out to, you know, geographic, depending on how you set it up, geographic situation through Facebook, and if you choose to do Instagram or whatever else you use for social media. In addition, you're gonna put it out on openhouse.com, which is through the FMLS system, and that's gonna export all that data out to your Zillow, your Realtor.com, and all of that. And that usually shows up the same day that you enter that in the system, okay? So our plan is to generate traffic, and that traffic is hopefully incremental buyers and incremental sellers that are coming to see how you hold an open house. So when the neighbors come, don't be upset that it's the neighbors, because they're probably trying to interview you. They're trying to see how you react to people showing up in an open house.
Great.
So,
Yes.
okay. So what you wanna do, if this is not your listing, is you wanna become familiar with that house. You wanna look at the seller's property disclosure so that you know what's involved in what's going on with the house. If you can, you wanna get in the house prior to the open house so that you can become familiar with it. And you also wanna get into any other homes that are nearby in the similar price range. And why do you wanna do that?
So you
Comps, your market
Because you will
analysis.
show your knowledge to the people that
Yes.
comes, that you know
You're
the
the
area
expert.
and you are the agent.
There you go.
Right.
So you wanna be able to, if somebody comes to your open house and they say, oh man, this is really a beautiful home, but the backyard is really tiny. You say, gosh, have you seen 123 Main Street? That backyard is amazing. No, our agent hasn't showed us that, or no, we haven't seen that one. So y'all should really make it a point to get over and see that one. It's got a fabulous backyard.
With me.
You're not doing that if they've got an agent,
Oh, yeah, that's if they did.
okay? So you have to respect people
Oh, yeah.
that have an agent. Okay, so when you get there, you're gonna go ahead and get to know everything around it. You wanna, if you're not familiar with the house or the neighborhood, you wanna familiarize yourself prior to the open house. Where are the restaurants? Where are the grocery stores? Where are the schools? Are the schools close enough that kids can ride their bikes, walk, whatever it is? You wanna know what schools they are, because sometimes they're gonna ask you and you're sitting there going,
I don't know.
what is the price point of the house? Does the flyer and collateral information that maybe the listing agent has have the price on it? Mine don't. So do you know what you're holding open? I do that on purpose. Because if I do have to do a price adjustment, I'm not reprinting everything.
Right.
Okay, so get to know everything about it. And then, are there other homes for sale in the neighborhood? And if there are, you wanna go and see each of those so that you can talk to them about condition. You know, potentially if they've seen them and you can say, oh my gosh, that's a great house too. You know, that I love that you love the kitchen in that house. You need to be knowledgeable about everything, because when you portray your knowledge, if they've got an agent maybe that hasn't been with them or coming with them, you can help them understand that they need to go see that with their agent. If they don't have an agent, then they're knowing that you are familiar with the inventory and listening to their needs. You want to engage with people when they come in to the door. So what we're gonna do is, you've promoted it, you're ready for your open house day, okay? So now it's Sunday. What time do I need to show up to the house?
12.
Okay. What needs to happen before I show up to the house? Directionals?
That's all good, you're right.
When were the
Well, I
directionals
don't
put
have an
out?
hour.
Friday.
That's a long time.
Friday.
Okay.
Friday after
Friday
Friday,
or very late Thursday.
after
Okay.
2, I think Cow County says after 2 p.m. you can start placing them.
Okay, where are the directionals in the neighborhood? When can you put those out if you don't have a really strict HOA?
Yeah, they have to answer.
Couple days, 3
Friday,
days, 2, 3
yeah.
days.
Okay, so let's say all your directionals are out Wednesday. So you arrive to the neighborhood around 11:30 or 12. What are you gonna do with the directionals now?
Put some balloons everywhere.
Awesome, and how many balloons should go on a sign?
I do 1 or 2.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. 3 balloons need to go on each sign.
Okay.
And you wanna know why?
Why?
Because on my way in here today,
Yes.
I popped a balloon. And I didn't mean to. But it really did happen. I hit a wall in the building today. And now I only have 2 signs, 2 balloons for my sign. But still, I'm able to have some presence with this. This is my strategy for holding balloons down in my car.
Smart.
Oh, yes.
So that I don't crash or can't see out my back window. So if you have a shoe, it works. Whatever works to weight your balloons down, wrap it around it. But when you get to your sign, then what do you do?
Tie them in the
house itself?
Okay, to make this easy for you, I'm dumbing this down, okay?
Yes.
So let's just say you have 3 balloons.
Yeah.
Is it good like this?
No.
No.
Okay, you stack them. Okay, so your 3rd balloon's up here,
Mhm.
use your vision. then, so you're not going crazy because it's super windy outside and you're going bananas.
It's always windy when you have.
It
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Or it's
In
raining.
a knot, like that.
Or it's raining.
Genius.
And then,
Thank you.
yeah, I know.
This is more complicated than I really thought.
Class
It
is
is.
over.
Right, but then you're not tying it here, no, because then your balloons, when it's windy, go like this.
Yeah.
You're gonna go, you ask for long string, by the way, see my string? You go like this.
Oh.
Mind blown. Drop the microphone.
Dismiss. Okay, so there you go, all right? You're gonna tie a knot, obviously, so they don't blow away. 3 balloons. Right,
Very cool.
All right. Got it.
next,
Hey Karen,
yes.
is the trick there that it's tied down the middle, in the middle of the sign?
Well, you just, I mean, if you tie it to the stand and just, because a lot of agents tie it here, when it's windy, the balloons are over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this just keeps them around so that they're visible and not popping. Because if it comes down and hits the edge of this, it's gonna go. Bless the little guy's heart that helped me at Kroger this morning when he glued those up. He's the frozen food guy. And his calluses on his hands, he couldn't feel the balloons when he was tying it.
Oh.
And so he popped 2 because he doesn't do that part. He's not the floral guy. And so it was pretty exciting at Kroger.
So we do, one thing, we do have helium here if you,
Yes, we do. Okay, so once you're in the house, what do? You've got all your balloons out. Now you're at the house.
So you're gonna turn on all the lights.
Turn on all the lights.
Hopefully you have your chipsets in your hand.
Okay, so you're gonna turn on all the lights. Open the blinds. Make sure your clients haven't left their laundry out, their toothbrush out.
Make sure they're not still
You're gonna go
asleep.
through and make sure that house is ready to show. If there's a fireplace and you have permission to light the fireplace, or your clients were kind enough to do that for you, go ahead and make the ambiance all the way, okay? Some agents like to have a candle. Sometimes candles have a really strong scent, so be wise with that. And if you're using the air fresheners, be really wise with the flavors that you choose for that, because some of them make you, they're so sweet or something.
What's a good flavor?
chocolate
crisp
chip
linen.
cookie.
Yeah.
Crisp
It is.
Chocolate chip cookie.
Crisp linen is good.
Crisp
linen, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say, don't get?
No.
But he likes chocolate chip.
I
Yeah.
put them in the oven.
When you can't eat it, you smell it.
Okay, so when you've gone through, what if you see your client's jewelry sitting out? Okay, great. What if you see medications out on the counter? Okay. You should have advised them in the beginning to do that. We listed the house, so they should know that, but you need to protect them. So you're gonna go through and look for all those things. Toilet seats up or down?
No.
Okay. Now what's next after you turned on all the lights and gotten the house ready?
Flush the commodes, make sure you got plenty of toilet paper.
Okay. All right. What else?
Set all your materials up.
Do you have a
Okay.
little, do you have a little music?
Lights
Lights
So
on?
you can.
A little music on your cell phone?
Sign-in sheet.
So definitely you want to make sure you have your collateral. Okay. So when you're greeting somebody at the door, you're gonna not just go, hey, hi, how are you? Okay, just help yourself. Right? You're gonna greet them at the door. Signing in is mandatory at my open house. Okay. I had 51 people through last weekend. Actual bodies. I had 22 buying groups. So, but 51 actual bodies through. So I have 22 entries on my log, okay? I also had help. Lamar helped me, did that, and it was very busy. When we have people come in the house, are you letting, let's say you have 10 people show up at the same time, and you're the only person at the open house. My recommendation is that you're managing that. So you can have 2 people go this way, 2 people go that way. The other people, you're giving them the collateral while they're outside, and then just telling them that you're managing it, unless it's raining. But they can go and look at the backyard, they can go look around the house and see, oh my gosh, look at the great putting green over there, whatever it is. But you don't wanna have it so much that you cannot manage what's in the house, okay? From a safety standpoint, we're gonna talk about too. Should I wear my cute little high heels if I'm a female?
No.
No? Why?
Can't run.
Can't run.
Are you scared of something?
Yes, always.
No, but
Very high alert, always.
Good.
Not scared, but cautious.
Yeah.
Very high alert.
Okay.
And leave a back door unlocked
So
and defense.
we're gonna talk about that because what if, from a safety perspective, you've got the door, you're greeting them at the front door. You're not back on the couch watching TV. You're greeting them. And you'd be amazed how many open houses I've attended in the last couple of weeks where the agent is doing exactly what I just said.
Really?
Wow.
Yep, walk in the front door, no agent. Where are they? Walk to the back, they're on their computer in the kitchen where they can't even see who's coming in the front door.
Wow.
So you want to be greeting them at the door. You're gonna say, I'm so glad that you're here today at my open house. Would you please sign in for my seller? You have multiple pens. Okay. Multiple sheets. I just make my open house sheets. So it's not a big deal, but you can buy the books at the FMLS store if you want to. But you can have multiple out if you've got several people coming in. You can have them sign in. Thank you so much. Here's the brochure. How did you find out about the open house while they're signing in? Oh, we saw it online. What site did you see it on? Zillow, Redfin, whatever. I've got all that on there so they can check the box where they see it. They also have to fill in if they have an agent or not. Oh my gosh, who are you working with as your agent? So and so. Okay, great, awesome. Did she point you to this house too? You know, just have some conversation. How long have you been looking? My last open house last weekend, I had people that had been looking for a year. They're motivated probably, right? Okay.
Question, your sign-in sheets, you cut them off?
No.
Keep them all?
I keep it all there.
Everybody else's information?
Yep, and then I just keep on flipping. There's 3 on a page.
You do a starter one where you fill it in, so they just follow whatever the phone.
Yeah.
If they gave them address, they give them
And I don't ask for their address. I do ask for phone, email, agent name, and where they found out about the open house. Okay.
What
Alright.
is your line, just if they say, I don't want to sign it?
I really can appreciate that, but my sellers are requiring for each person that comes into their home for you to sign. If you're not able to, I'm not gonna be able to let you see it. You're gonna miss out.
Wow, you have to say that a lot?
No, never.
That's good.
100% of the time I get signed in. Okay, so.
How do you work differently though, if they tell you, cause when I read up a long time ago, I found they would often lie to me about, it was their Aunt Tilly, they've not shown houses in 10 years, but she's still their agent. How do you handle when they say I'm working with an agent? It may not be true.
I don't necessarily care.
Tell me why.
Because they're there to see the house unless they've got some ulterior motive, which my little spidey senses are up for that. But if they've got an eighth, you know, I mean, I potentially could pick them up if they really aren't working with Aunt Tilly, right? If I'm approaching it from a giving, educated, knowledgeable standpoint. And that happened last weekend. I picked up clients that were moving from Washington. And they were kind of standoffish at the beginning, didn't want to share a whole lot. And at the end, as we just were talking about what was going on in the area and the restaurants and I showed my knowledge of the area. And they stayed after and said, we really need help. We haven't found an agent yet that we want to work with. And they are under a buyer agency agreement with me, and we've made 2 offers on homes. So you just come from your heart and contribution, and that stuff falls together without you chasing people, okay? Okay, so you've got the flyers, you let them, here you go. If you've got any questions, a couple of the great features about this house is the kitchen has been completely renovated. It's got an apron, farmhouse sink. It's beautiful, and they've expanded the right-hand wing of the house, and it's got a huge master closet. You probably saw it in the photos or whatever. So here's a brochure. Please walk through the house if there's any questions that you have. So let's just say you've got a little quiet moment, nobody else is coming. You let them start, they go, they do the first floor, they go upstairs. You don't hear a whole lot of talking. You just go, hey, I just wanted to check. Do you guys have any questions? You kind of want to keep them moving along and not park in a room like camping out for the day, okay? So just try to keep engaged with everybody that's come in. I really try to keep names, when they come in and say, hi, my name's Jim, I keep on, okay, Jim's got the blue shirt on. And so when they're flowing through the house and they're in the kitchen, I go, hey, Jim, how's it going? Do you have any questions so far? If you have more interest, the disclosures are on the kitchen table right there if you'd like to look at those, okay? I'm not passing out disclosures. There's a book, that they can flip through, okay? So once then at the end, you just ask for feedback. So how did you like the house? Oh, we thought this, that, the other thing. We're just starting a search, blah, blah, blah. You can have more dialogue and conversation with them at that point. Okay, so then from a safety standpoint, I wanted to talk about that because the way I handle things, when you get to the house, you want to find out what your exit strategy is. Somebody comes in, you're not feeling great, is there another way besides the front door, okay, to get out? I do not personally leave any other doors unlocked. I know where the doors are. I know if there is a key that is used to operate it, then that's a different story. But if it's just a whoop and I'm out of there, I am not letting somebody walk around that house and come in the back door to surprise me, okay? So you've got to, depending on where you are, the location of the house, your knowledge of the area, you've got to decide that for yourself. Because a lot of people like to walk around the backyard and then there they are on the porch and you're like, shucks, that scared the crap out of me. How'd you get in? So just pay attention to that because that's your own choice. Do you have something to protect yourself? Are you using mace maybe? Do you have anything, do you have a safety whistle? Can you get out a door quick enough to blow it 3 times for an SOS? You need to have stuff with you. Do you carry mace and a whistle? What are you doing? Just in case, because you have one chance.
And you've got that thing on your key that will set the alarm off on your car.
You can do that. Depending on how you do that. See, I usually am wearing slotted pants, so I always have my phone on me. My phone is always charged. Do not go to an open house with a not charged phone. You need to have a way to call out. Where do you park?
On the street. On the street.
On the street. You park in a position where you can get away. We talked about shoes. Low shoes. Okay, low profile shoes. So you can scoot out of there. Okay. Do you have snacks?
Put my pumps away.
Maybe you have snacks for people. On the way out, they can take a snack. They're not allowed to eat in the house. It's not your house. Okay. They're allowed to have water. Those can be on the kitchen counter. But you offer these on the way out. Would you like a snack for your next adventure that you're going on? Are you going to another open house after this one? Feel free to take a snack. Okay, here's water for you. All right. So just be accommodating, but do not let people eat in the house where you are. Okay, so we've talked about greeting people, signing in, you're trying to build a rapport, because they're gonna, if they don't like the situation they're in, potentially, they'll reach back out to you. But again, creating that knowledge. Are you gonna go over and look at the amenities? Here's a map on how to get to the swing and tennis you'd like to see for the community. Okay,
Did you create the map?
How do you create the map?
depends. If you are familiar with the neighborhood and you've got, if you're in the neighborhood, you may have a directory that has a map. Otherwise, you can just do a map, print the area from Google and then highlight how they get there, or give them the address to the amenities so that they can drive to the amenities. But just hand out maps and say, you need to go and see the swim and tennis, and here's the clubhouse if it seems like you really like this house. I think you'll really like the neighborhood, why don't you drive through it? Okay. All right, so once you've done all of that, if you feel like you're gonna have a super, super busy open house, you might wanna have a co-host that's kind of helping you manage traffic. Those 10 people that are at the door, you can let all 10 in if you have a co-host and let them go their different directions, okay? All right, so when you've done all of that, what happens when you're done with open house?
Check windows and doors.
Turn off the lights.
What about the trash? Did you have trash? Somebody did drink
We
of
pick it
water
up and
and
take
left
it.
it on the porch. So you're gonna take, you wanna leave no trace, you wanna be like a Boy Scout, okay? Don't leave anything behind. You're gonna take all your trash with you, bring your own little trash bag with you, and what have you. So now you've got 20 people that signed in to your open house. You've picked up all your flyers, you've restacked all your propaganda back to where it was so that the sellers feel like they won't get invaded. You've turned off all the lights except for the ones that they want open. You've made sure that the garage door from the kitchen to the garage is unlocked so they can get back in the house and you're not called back over in 2 hours when they come home. Okay? And you're done for the day. Then what? Okay, you leave the house, it's all locked up, buttoned up. Now what?
Directions.
Okay.
Balloons.
So how are you gonna get the balloons off? Because now they're tied on really good.
Scissors.
All right. Scissors,
Knife.
knife. And just know. Okay. Then what? Do you have a little friend in the neighborhood that you can get to that really loves you? Maybe you don't have one.
Popeye.
Okay. Do you have a friend that's sad? You can go put them on their mailbox. Okay. So use the balloons for something useful. And then if you don't have something useful, then. Okay. All right, so when you go back out to your car, you can wrap them again so that they're not in your way. Or then go to the ceiling.
That's so much
That one a little short. Okay, so now you're done with open house and you promised 2 people that you would send property disclosures to them. So you need to follow up and make sure you do what you said you're gonna do. Okay, so go through your list. Hopefully you've made little notes, like over here, oh my gosh, they really liked it, they liked the neighborhood, they wanna know if anything else comes up in the neighborhood. So look at your notes and act on everything that day. Okay. All right, then the last thing I have is if you haven't read this book, this is a book to read called The Gift of Fear. And it talks about listening to your spider senses. Making sure that you're listening to that intuition that speaks to you from a safety standpoint. Because you're putting yourself in a position where you're advertising that you're there by yourself. Okay? And especially if you're in a part of town that you're not familiar with, you need to be very aware of your surroundings. You need to listen to your gut instinct and what it tells you to do. Okay? Yes.
I wanna add, while showing the property or in the open house, ponytails are not the best hairstyle.
Ponytails are not good.
Anything that can be grabbed.
And anything like this, wear something that drapes so that you can conceal things.
There's also a feature on your cell phone, emergency SOS. You can set it up, like click this 5 times, it automatically calls 911.
911.
And my husband, if I have him, was there too.
Well, and the other thing is, if you are at a point where you haven't done that, but you know, Keller Williams has this international recognition of you can call so-and-so, Jill Harris, or you know, you could call me and say, can you grab the red file for 123 Main Street? That is a Keller Williams supposed to be trained for staff and everybody that they know that you're in trouble and you've just given them the address. However, that also is posted on YouTube.
Yeah.
So anybody that is gonna come after somebody probably has reference to that YouTube video where they know that that is code for help me. So you've gotta have some alternatives where you can call for help. Okay?
Another thing that I've done is let someone have a fake phone call stating that I'll see you at 4:30 when the open house is over, to let them know that someone's anticipating my arrival at 4:30.
Yes, the other thing is just get out of the house. You know, if you don't feel good and they're like, hey, I really need you to come down to the basement and show me this. You don't do that. You're never ever leading the way. You know, one of the safety things from showing a house, open house, whatever it is, when you're with somebody, whether you've known them for a long time or not, you just need to make it habit so that you don't make a mistake, is they always go first. Going upstairs, go right after you. They, you know, a lot of men want to have you go first because they were brought up correctly, but you don't do it. I'm so sorry, you know, it's my real estate training, you please just go first. You know, never, ever, ever lead the way, because you can get trapped in a room, shoved in a closet, whatever it is. So you want to be set up for safety. Questions?
Yes, your follow-up plan.
My follow-up plan? My follow-up plan is to call any agents that had attendees at the open house to follow up and see how their attendees liked it, because I'm not reaching out directly to that person if they have an agent. I email buyers that did not have representation and thank them for coming to the open house. Then I start to cultivate and nurture them. So I may check in once every couple of weeks. If you put them in command, you can put them on a smart plan.
Okay.
So when do you start that plan?
Pretty much immediately.
But like
That day is when I send the thank you for attending. And then I'll do one phone call Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I start the smart plan. Once they're, and I've not had problems getting in touch with people. Typically I'll say, you know, if I don't get them on the phone, I won't leave a message the first time. I'll text them and say, hey, this is Karen Sharpless. I almost used my maiden name there. That was weird. Sharpless. And I met you at open house on Sunday, and I just wanted to check in and see if there's anything that I can help you with in your own search. And then, you know, typically I'll get an answer back, probably 90% of the time. And then I'll start.
You can make a personal note on your visit that Cubby was going to school or something. When you call him back, how did that go? Did Cubby get to school? Okay. If you do that quickly, you'll remember it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I'm saying anything that they say, like, oh, we've been looking for a year and a half. Oh my gosh, I work at Coca-Cola downtown. My commute time needs to be 45 minutes. Oh my gosh, whatever it is, that needs to be on this cheat sheet that they've signed in. You know, you've got some data, and then that data can be entered into your. Okay, so another thing.
And your tag.
Got an open house tag?
House tag by the address. Yeah, so
Okay.
123 Main Street is my
Okay.
tag. 123 Main Street open house. That's how I, that's how I tag it. If you're doing an open house at a vacant home, things you'll wanna have in your vacant home toolkit are toilet paper, paper towels, soap, pens, trash bags. Measuring tape is always good to have. A lot of people like to measure and don't have a measuring tape with them, so that's good that you would have that as a tool for them. Obviously, your business cards and then any disinfecting wipes. Okay? Any other questions?
The hours are killer hours, 1 to 5.
Well, I did that because I knew that was gonna be a one-time deal.
Okay.
That, I knew that house was gonna go, so I just did it. That was our first day of showing. We had, that's the, one of them that we had like 50 people through. Typically,
Is that the one with the fight ring?
2 to 4 on Saturday or 2 to 4 on Sunday. But what I was saying at the beginning is you may not wanna buy 10 of this that locks you into Sunday 2 to 4 only. So you buy a 2 to 4 on Sunday and then you get a bunch of the generic just opens so that you aren't spending, you don't have 80 riders that you've gotta keep up with. So this would go on the house and at the entrance, this would go on everything in between.
So, if you get another agent to assist you with your open house, what's the recommendation to provide the, those that don't have agents?
I pay hourly rate.
Pay an hourly rate?
Yeah, because it's the agent's listing, so that leads, or the
What did
agent's
you say?
listing
You
leads.
did what?
Sorry, explain again.
She pays them.
I pay him. I pay
Pay
for help.
assistant. You pay the assistant.
It's like a shift,
Just get an
yeah.
insurance assistant.
How much do you pay?
Open house host.
Yeah.
No, just for us to know how much, because you don't
$50
want to
an
look
hour.
cheap.
So
I mean, maybe
don't
that's that, because
Okay.
sometimes people pay
Any other questions?
for up and door.
Yes.
What was the author of the book you just mentioned?
It is, it's called The Gift of Fear and it's Gavin DeBecker, DeBecker.
You're a black belt in Taekwondo. You don't need a book.
That's
Do
right.
you recommend Saturday and Sunday?
Call Adrian.
Or if you have to have a one-day one, what day would you recommend?
I'll tell you, I was skeptical about, I had 2 listings go live the same week and I had to have both of them open on the weekend, so I did one on Saturday, one on Sunday. And I was a little worried because sports started that Saturday, that was the beginning weekend of sports. And this one I had 50 for Saturday, so it just depends.
Serious buyers will still come out.
They're coming out, if they need a house, they're gonna be there.
And most sports are in the morning, baseball
Yeah.
and lacrosse and everything. is in the
Yeah, it's
morning.
usually like 9, 10, 11, so they should have attendance.
The website that you mentioned, openhouse.com, isn't it the same website that I will use on FMLS?
It is.
And it is, okay.
Yep, that's what auto populates out to everything else.
Okay.
And Karen, if you're posting another agent's listing open,
Yes,
who is it that puts it in the openhouse.com?
it should be that the listing agent
Okay.
that would put it in because they're the only one that you can't, as a agent access their FMLS, because it has to be whoever has the sign in. But you wanna make sure as the agent holding it open that they did it early so that it's not Friday afternoon that they're entering it in the system and you hardly have any exposure. So you wanna push them to have it in there by Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay?
Good stuff.
Probably number one place to get the best exposure for open house. Number one place to get exposure for an open house, would it be FMLS, would it be?
Well,
Sign House?
FMLS, you can't put it in the comments, you can't put it in public
I'm
comments.
just saying, which one would you pick though?
Well, I would do the openhouse.com, which feeds to realtor.com and Zillow and everything else. Cause you can't manually do that on the other sites. It has to feed from openhouse.com through FMLS.
One agent mentions
Oh.
that he's kind of sneaky and he'll wait till Friday at 5 and he'll put it in the public comments on his listing and then take it back out Sunday night while the
No
list is
comment.
closed.
No comment.
So, not telling you to do it, just saying it has been done.
Just no comment.
Yes, no comment is the right answer.
Oh, I want to add a little tip, FYI, that I found out is don't forget to also put the open house in Georgia MLS. Because when people are looking at Zillow, sometimes I notice it's auto-populating the Georgia MLS feed, or it only does, right? So, don't learn the hard way.
And you know, one more thing I do wanna say is, your sellers are looking for that to populate. Like, they're like, okay, open house, when is it gonna show up? When is it gonna show up? And it might take an hour or two.
Yeah.
So, they see their listing show up and they're like, it doesn't show the open house yet.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's gonna be there. It really will.
Well, my grandson left, he said, Pop said, remind them that they should not pop balloons outside because someone may think it's a gunshot. And I thought that's pretty smart, wasn't it?
It is smart.
It's pretty smart. All right, guys, so.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
man.
night. Which is great. So the biggest question I get is, well, Jim, no one let me hold their house open. I go, really? Who do you call? Well, I call Mary, Sue, and Bill.
Yeah.
Well, what about the other 125 listings that we have? Have you called them? All right, now I want your attention for a minute, okay? I want you to hear me say this clearly, okay? Can you hold open, for answer the question, an open house at another Rawls Group office?
Yes.
Yes, we do. We can.
Who says you can? Who thinks you can?
Can.
Yes, you
Oh, come on,
can.
who says you can?
Can, yes.
Cannot.
All right, one more time. Who says that you can hold open an open house from another Rawls Group office?
I do.
Yes.
Who says you cannot do that? You're actually right.
You cross the
Aww.
What the rule says is you can only hold open houses under your office unless it is like Harry Norman Realtors where they got multiple offices.
Because
we're
we're
a franchise.
independently owned and operated.
Independently,
And
yeah.
so now, but you know, your broker, your team leader likes to sort of lit up on the edge or stuff like this. That's just me, because that's the way I do stuff. And I talked to the real estate commissioner about this several years ago, and he said, that's interesting. He didn't say we could do it, not gonna do it. But because we have one broker of what?
record.
Record, one, we have one, her name is what?
Linda
Robb. And because I can make a case for them that said, yeah, but we have one broker of record, and she's the broker also for First Atlantic. The biggest reason, you know what the number one reason why you cannot hold open someone other office? Because they cannot get to me. In other words, if someone goes out there and our thing goes out there and tells the neighbor you're a total idiot, which she might do,
I
then
would
they,
not.
then they cannot get to me. They call First Atlanta, they go, we don't have our thing here. Who is that? So that's the reason. The guys typically, though, if they call there, they're gonna be able to know that she's in East Caution. So guys, I will tell you, I would take the risk if you find one, another office with Rawls Group, because I'd be happy to call the commissioner and say, well, I was told several years ago we could do that because we're the same broker of record. And I'd be happy to make that on your behalf. I'm gonna tell you, open houses should be one way that y'all use to leverage to find more business.
I'm killing it from open houses.
All right, tell them about that.
So I have 2 listings right now. One is under contract for $740 for a buy. So it's like a buy, sell. I had, I guess, 2, I don't know, I did 19 open houses in the fall, counting from August to December, and had one, and then another referral from one of those sent their friend to me. So I guess 6 or 7 different deals have come from that.
Yes.
Yay, I'm so excited.
Awesome.
Now, the ones that say open houses don't work, I ask myself, well, tell me how many you've done. Well, I did 2 in a row. I go, okay, that's why I don't work for you. You have to do 200 in a row, or at least 20 in a row. Because I will tell you guys, if I could tell you the magic open houses, you'll show up on this Sunday, a beautiful Sunday, it'll be fabulous, no football game, no golf game, whatever, and you'll get 0. You show up
And
the
a
next
rainy day,
weekend,
you
you
get
won't get
15.
0. Show up the following, you'll get one never come by that doesn't like you. Man, on the fifth weekend, all of a sudden you go, oh my God, guess what, Jim? I had 22 couples. I picked up 2 buyer leads and sold leads. It is consistency over time that with open house, like everything else. If you knock on doors one time, how not gonna work? But if you do them every single weekend, they do work. They work well. It's just consistent that they work. Yes, ma'am.
So I have a question. So even if, and excuse me if my question is weird, because I just don't know how you do stuff, you guys do things here. But so even if you got permission from a listing agent outside of the office to hold that open house, that is not allowed in writing?
So, and again, it is the, technically you're supposed to have permission from the across technically. But I will tell you, if the listing agent, I mean, first line, it could be done with, if they tell you it's okay, even verbally, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
As long as they say it's okay.
On Facebook, and I was like,
Guys, ask me how many times I've been called in 40 years about agent that misbehaved on Zoom.
right.
3.
0. I'm sorry. 0. Of course you would do that, Eric. Of course you would. I would tell you, if you're trying to find, if you wanted to find another way to increase your lead flow, open houses is one. I sold a $2 million house. This was 30 years ago on open house. They walked in, now they had an agent. They walked, saw the house, said, we want to buy this house, and bought the next day. Okay, so I've done that. My best friends in the whole world, I met at an open house 35 years ago, and they've done about $15 million business. The kids have so open houses work if you do them consistently. You cannot do one. But John can't find one to do. They keep calling you to find another village. Is the house vacant a good way to have another house? Probably not. It's better be there than not be there at all, of course. So guys, just get out there because the buyers are going to start coming out of the woodwork right now. Particularly if the rates go down to 5.5%. All right, we're going to close on that. Where are my loan people? Right here. All right, tell me, what do you think the chances are, we'll start with you, that the rates will hit 5.5% by summer?
By when?
By summer.
By summer, it's possible,
That's
yes.
sort of like
It's possible, it's gonna go down, the inflation is gonna be controlled a little bit more, so it's possible. I mean, never saying never. They're ready, even if you pay a little discount points, you can get into there.
Like that. Reed, what do you say? I don't leave anybody up, by the way.
Well, if you, the operative word is possible, right? It should happen. There, nobody anticipated the war with Russia and Ukraine either, and that was a wild card. But apart from those, yes, it should happen.
Tell me who this man is right here. And don't shout out until I turn back around. Lawrence Young. Tell me who that is. Somebody tell me who it is. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Listen. One more time, Jerry.
The chief economist for the National Association of Realtors.
Is he a pretty smart guy?
Yeah.
Been around for a long time. He's a guy that I love talking to. He's just a great guy. And we're not quite sure which word, or we're not, but he at least knows my name to me. And he says in an article about 2 weeks ago, rates will be going down. He didn't say may. What's that word that you don't like is may? He said rates will be going down. Now, is he 100% right? No.
He's got a 50-50 chance of being right.
Exactly right.
I love it.
So yes, sir, Tim.
What Doug Duncan said, that was a little joke, when we had his event, was that economists will say a number but not a date, but they'll say a date but not a number. So we can say, hey, get down to 5.5%. I think that's very likely to be down there by summer, but don't want to say beginning or end of summer. But I definitely think it's likely to get down, something like that.
Kathleen, want anything to that?
Well, I just want to tell everybody, a person I really like to follow on Instagram or Facebook is Barry Habib. Everybody in the mortgage industry knows him. But he breaks it down, I think, for realtors to understand. And because I was a realtor for so long, I always think like that. And so check him out, and he thinks that May 10th is gonna be a big day because that might be the day that we actually see a real cut in inflation. If that happens, then that is going to affect the mortgage rates. It's all about, we're all tied to inflation. So check him out. I think you'll get some nuggets that you might be able to share with your clients.
So I am Barry Habib. What was his
I am
name?
Barry Habib, yeah. He's really smart.
You know, at some point, we're going to go up. And we're gonna go up. And it's gonna happen. I promise it's gonna happen. Been doing this for longer than anybody else in this room, because Paige's not here. I'm older, by the way, but she's been doing this long as I've been here. But anyway, guys, it's gonna happen. The question is, will you be in such constant contact with your database that you know that list is coming up? Are you gonna go, oh, I'm sorry, I should have called you, Angela, I forgot about you? Are you gonna be in contact? Last but not least, give an update on 201, where we're gonna do that again. 201 contacts.
I mean, it ends Thursday, so we don't really have anything scheduled as of right now.
You all, if you do not have 201 contacts in your database, we have ways to do it right now where you can really make that happen pretty quickly. The coolest way we can do that is that, let's assume in my neighborhood, that there's 47 homes. They have a way to pull out the 47 homeowners' names and contact numbers, Rob?
Name, contact, email.
Is that right? And put it in your command to where you can set up a way to touch
Neighborhood
them.
update.
So guys, if you're in a 400 subdivision, that can also go into your command for you to touch them regularly. So guys, that's there. So we can do that for you. So if you don't have at least 200 in your contact base, please see one of the staff to help you with that. Anything at all? Did I leave anything out? More? Thank you, Karen. You should go and where did that show? Okay, let's give her a hand, you all, and thank you so
Say that again?